All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to France. We're watching the final of Montpellier, which has been going on this week. While the Davis Cup's been going on, there's been a little bit of attention. We've been paying a little bit of attention, but Felix is in the final, FAA. He didn't have a great Australian Open, making up for it this week with a final. I think he also is the defending champion of this tournament, so trying to defend that. Playing Mannarino, who's 37 years old. They played twice. 1-1 is the head-to-head. Both matches have been one-sided. So, I don't know. This will be interesting. FAA on indoor courts is kind of a beast, though. So, we'll see. Felix should win. He's the favorite. Mannarino was fortunate to get through his last match. So, yeah. Let's see how this goes. All right. Also, Chad, as you notice in the background, things have changed. I have put all of the Alcaraz shirts in a lovely... How do I use my hands? Hang on. Ta-da! And that is signed by Mirra Andreeva that I found out after I bought it. So yeah, there it is. More room. And look, there's plenty of room. Plenty more room for more. We got more Wimbledons, more French Opens, more Grand Slams. The Wall of Carlos, formerly known as the postcard wall, is now the Alcaraz wall. Looks great. Yeah, I just love the different patterns. Like, I love that you're just like, you know instantly what is what. Except for the Wimbledons. They look similar because everyone wears white. But you just know, like, oh, that stripy one was that French Open win. Like, you know, oh, there's the green from the Oz Open. Oh, I love it. I love that they're all different. They're all so different. I subscribe to the Carlos wall. Lovely. There you go. They're just getting ready to go. If you start a Sinner Carlos wall, you'll never need to repaint. Yeah, but the Sinner shirts are hard to find and they're ugly. But they are hard to find. Like, I don't think I can get an Australian Open Sinner shirt from 2024. I don't think that it's possible. And I'm really not going to pay $1,000 for it. I don't want it that bad. So I'll just be fine with that. The Sinner shirts are ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's one on eBay for $1,000. I'm not buying $1,000. Oh, it's got a signature. Okay, that's why. It's signed. I was going to say, is that just the shirt? But it's got a signature. Right in the middle, though. I mean, it could look cool in a frame, but I really don't want to spend $1,000 on a Sinner shirt. I'd rather get a Sinner tennis ball with the signature. But yeah, Sinner stuff's impossible to find. I don't know why it was impossible. Because I was going to get Sinner stuff. I was going to get Sinner and Alcaraz. Every time they'd win something, I'd buy it. But I can't find a Sinner shirts. They're very hard to find. So, we're just going to stick with the Alcaraz wall. It was already hard enough to find two of these shirts. One of the French Open shirt from last year wasn't sold in Australia for no reason. And then I had to get help getting the Wimbledon one, the first Wimbledon one, because I didn't get that in time. So, we're lucky that I've got all 7 Alcaraz ones. The Sinner ones we're never going to find them. Carlos jersey in AO is like an endorsing Milo. It may be. Pats or Seahawks? I don't know. Seahawks, because Australian. If you start a Sinner, yeah. Medi have a chance to Bublik or Hurkacz if they pass. I have no idea what you just said. FAA versus Mannarino, I like both, but don't mind either winning today. Yeah, I mean, I would love Felix to win, personally. I think Felix winning would be, like, with everybody, he's the only player in the top 10 that didn't do well in Melbourne. Everybody else made it to the fourth round or above. He was the only upset with retirement. So for him to win Montpellier kind of puts him back in, like, the entire top 10 is in good form again, right? Whereas he was the only one that stood out as, he was the only one that had a disappointing Australian Open. Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, Zverev all made the semis. Musetti, Fritz, they made the fourth round of quarterfinals. Demonor, Shelton, Bublik, fourth round or better. Felix was the only one. So FAA winning this would kind of make up for that and go, okay, well, everyone in the top 10 is in form. And that's kind of cool because we never really have that. It never happens. Layla play awful this year. Okay. By the way, Chad, I have two more shirts that I ended up putting together. Does anybody know what these are? Can anybody recall? You should all know because I've shown them a million times. I mean, this one was really hard to find. This one I got on the time it happened. Does anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody know what these are? Does anybody know? By the way, Adidas really don't win Grand Slams, do they? That's why I'm rocking the Adidas, just to make up for it. So Federer 09 and Rafa 2020 French. They're both French Open shirts. I need a Djokovic shirt. Federer 09 completing the slam. And Rafa winning his 20th Grand Slam. All right. I just need a Djokovic. When Djokovic wins 25, I'm buying that shirt. Please don't be Wimbledon. Please be be something different. But I'm buying the Djokovic 25 shirt. That's what I'm getting. I'm waiting for him to get 25. And then I'm buying his shirt. All right, here we go. Mannarino to serve. I like these colors. I think they're really cool. Oh, pardon me. You'll be waiting forever? That's mean. That was rude. Was Dominic Thiem the last? Oh my god. The last Adidas man to win? I think he was, right? All right. Mannarino to serve. I'm going to go Felix in a long straight sets. He doesn't play quick, and I'm not expecting this to be quick. Mannarino also doesn't play quick. So I'm expecting this to be a long straight sets win for Felix. Love 15. If this is less than 2 hours, I'd be shocked. All right. First there's a fault, second serve. As the return goes in from Felix, the forehand to Mannarino. Felix backhand down the line. Too good. Love 30. How many titles do they have each? So Mannarino's got 5 titles. And Felix has 8. And Mannarino won, I think he hadn't won a title until like 33 or 34 years old. He won 3 titles in 1 year, but he hadn't won a title until he reached into his 30s. I'm pretty sure, unless he won a title in his 20s and then he didn't win one for a while. I can't remember exactly. So 2019 was his first ever trophy. He's actually won his last 4 of his last 5 finals, so that's interesting. And a couple of those were on indoor hard courts. As Mannarino, Down break points already. Love 40. Yeah, so 2 of his titles are on grass. 2 of them are on indoor hard courts. 1 on outdoor hard courts. All of them 250s. He beat Draper in Bulgaria 2023 to win that title. And he won, 3 titles in 2023. July, September, November. So it was a good run. And he also made the Mallorca final in 2023 as well. Lost to Eubanks, but again, his record is not great in finals. It's 5 wins, 10 losses, and he's down a break already, so that doesn't help. But he was 0-6 from his first 6. Then he won his first title. Then he was 1 win, 9 losses, and now he's 5-10. So lately he's been a lot better in finals. But hasn't made a final for 3 years. Do you have team's kit from 2020 US Open? I do not. I mean, I would love to actually get that. That'd be actually cool to get. I just don't remember. I just don't remember what it looks like. It's all right. It's red. I don't know if I can find it. I think it might be too far gone. Yeah, I don't think I can find that one. Anyways, FAA 15 love. First serve is a let. Serve again. A17, nice. No women's kits. I mean, look, they're not cheap. Like, as the outfits are not cheap. And I'm kind of I bought the Federer one and the Nadal one a long time ago. And then I started buying the Alcaraz ones when he won his 3rd trophy. I'm like, oh, maybe I should start getting the Alcaraz ones. I'm not really thinking about getting like every person who ever wins a slam. So yeah. So I don't have any of the ladies' kits, but also I'm probably too late to get most of them anyway. Like I couldn't get Swiatek's kits from the start of the, I'm probably too late for that. I have Coco Gauff shoes. Like I've got Naomi Osaka shoes. As FAA, I don't think it's lost a point, and he's 2 love up. So I'm just kind of sticking with the one player, especially because Alcaraz, he's already got 7, right? So it's always like, he's on his way to 10, and that way I can, even if he only wins 10, right? He stops at 10, I could still, it's still pretty good. It's a pretty good haul. All right. 2 love. All right. So get a fault from Mannarino, and it's a let on the second serve. Serve in the corner. Felix. Return goes wide. Mannarino wins a point. Everyone goes crazy. 15 love. You don't like the Mustard Sinner shirt? He didn't win, though. Like, why would I buy the Sinner shirt when he lost? As you can tell, I have bought all the Alcaraz jerseys when he has won, not when he loses. So I don't have any of the losing Alcaraz outfits, only when he wins. Why would I buy Sinner's outfit when he lost? If he had won, I don't know. Maybe I would have. All right, 15-0. And we thought 10 was far off. I know, right? By the end of the year, he could be on 10. By the end of the year, he should be on at least 8. I think 8. He'll be on 8 by the end of the year. He's going to win the French Open, right? All right, 15 hours with a fault second serve. There's a return then up by Felix. 30-15. Mannarino serves again. Oh, an ace out wide. Right. 40-15. There's a return. Nope, that's called a let. And Felix misses that one, and it's 2-1. FAA with the break. But Mannarino's on the board. Castella pulled out of Doha, was replaced by Dajmaya. Yeah, I saw that. Fair enough. Remember the time when Felix should win finals? Those days are long gone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those days are long gone. But that was a whole thing. That was a whole thing. Is the Doha schedule for tomorrow out yet? It should be out soon, right? Tomorrow's going to be a crazy day in Doha, I can already tell. Also, chat, this marks the 38th day in a row that I have streamed. Not that I did this on purpose. It's a total accident that we stream in every day since the start of the year. But we are up to day 38 of 38 days straight. And we're not going to stop because the next 2 weeks we've got 1,000 events on, and then maybe after, actually no, on my birthday I will have a day off because there's no tennis on that day, so I won't have a choice. I will have to not stream on my birthday. That's fine. I'll be streaming before. Oh no, I will be streaming in the morning, but then I won't be streaming the night. And then Acapulco and Dubai the next day, but I don't even know if we're going to watch that. Does anybody know who? Is anyone playing Acapulco or Dubai? Are they worth watching? Zverev, Musetti, Demon or Shelton, Rude. Okay. And then FAA, Bublik, Draper, Medvedev, Rublev. I mean, okay, it's not bad. I don't know if it's maybe not worth watching the first rounds, but we could watch it like later in the week after a bit of time. So basically, I'm going to have like 3 days off on my birthday week. Cool. We need to see Draper. He doesn't want to play. Forehand goes in from Felix with the cross-court win of 30 love. We're going to watch Draper this week. And then he pulled out without telling anybody. He just quietly quit. I was like, wait. I thought Draper was going to play. He's on the withdrawal list. What happened? He just quietly quit. He was supposed to play. Did he even announce it? He just all of a sudden he was in the draw. I'm like, wait a second, hang on. How'd this happen? You're not even mentioning Dallas. The field is awesome. Relax. It's not that. Don't take it so personal. I'm not talking about Buenos Aires either. The field is American. All right, 30 love. Is it a backhand from Mannarino? Slice from Felix into the forehand of Mannarino. Felix, forehand inside out. Is it in? No. 30-15. When you say it's awesome, yeah, if you're an American, Fritz, Shelton, Paul, Tien, Tiafo, and that's just the seeds. I mean, there's only there's probably less than 10 non-American players. You've got Bellucci, Atman, Kaboli, Duckworth, Chilich, Shapo, Dimitrov, Fakina, Kecmanovic, Walton, Mannarino, Diallo. Okay, 12. 12 non-Americans are playing in that tournament at the moment, but the qualifiers are stacked with Americans too. So I mean, it's the American Open. It's what the Australian Open used to be back in the 60s. 30-15 as that goes to net by Felix. 30-all. And look, I'm sorry to tell you, but Dallas is probably going to be something that gets chopped when the Saudi 1000 comes in. Not that it deserves to be chopped. It just feels like that's an event that might get... Because what they're going to do is they're going to probably move Rotterdam to the end of the year, where it's played in the indoor section of the year, and Dallas might be removed to make way to bring forward, Doha or whatever, and then, or maybe they put Dubai and then Doha and then the 1000, so then they don't clash with the ladies. That might happen. So Dallas might be lost. Anyway, it's 40-30. Just go to it if you live there, because it might not be around when this Saudi 1000 comes in. 40-30. Because there's unless they put the Dallas event during the US Open swing. Well, that's the only other way they could do it, right? All right, 40-30. As the return goes in the forehand of Mannarino. Forehand now from Felix. Mannarino with a backhand. Into the forehand of Felix. Mannarino cross forehand. Felix runs around his backhand. Hit the forehand. And Mannarino then hits his forehand wide. It's 3-1. Three to 1. All right, 3-1 Felix. As Felix shakes to return. And it's 15 up. All right, serve. Into the forehand of Felix. Felix is it out. And it's 30 love. And then nice. 40 love. Love. And to the backhand slice of Felix. Forehand from Mannarino. Drop shot winner. It's 3-2. Felix with the break. Mannarino holds. Okay. Mannarino's first final in France. Yeah. All right. So Fernandez is about to lose the first set against Lee. She just lost the first set. So yeah, tomorrow Doha is going to be stacked because there are a lot of first rounds that we are going to be tuning into. Eala Valentova is definitely the one that I'm most interested in because both are very young players and it's a rematch, and you know it's really fun because I feel like over the last sort of 12 months we've been playing that like who is the best young player coming through, and you know Andreeva's definitely in the front, but then you've got Mboko. She's obviously 1 on 1,000. Had a really good Australian Open. You've got Balek yesterday winning that tournament was huge. Jovic obviously is a big one as well. Then you got Maya Joint, who's another one, and then tomorrow with Eala and Valentova. That feels like the group of young players coming through, which is really fun. And Joint's playing Noskova, which is not going to be easy. And Raducanu is apparently still playing, so that's good. And Zhang Kenin is another one that also is interesting. So yeah, tomorrow is going to be pretty stacked. All right, backhand winner from Felix, 15 love. All right, 15 love. Valentova's at the bottom of that list for rankings wise. Yeah. She doesn't quite. Well, I mean, her and Eala both have a. Do they both have a? Does Valentova have a challenger title? No. Yes, she has 2. So her and Eala are pretty much on par when it comes to results. Valentova's made 3rd round of Grand Slam before. Eala's just got a higher ranking, but she's won 2 challenger events, Valentova, so definitely. And she's the youngest of that group too, I think, because her and Jovic. Oh, actually, no, Jovic is the youngest, but she's Valentova's 18, turns 19 right next to my birthday. So yeah, so she's her and Jovic are the youngest of that group, but she's got 2 challenger events, so that's that her and Eala, achievement wise, are very very similar. We should do like a next gen ranking just for fun because there's no next gen finals for the ladies, so we just should make one. We should just make one, right? All right, 4-2 Felix. This is Mannarino's first final in France, yeah. Guys, see Mannarino doing well? Yeah. He is a very interesting player. Unorthodox style. First of his fault, second serve. Is it a 4 now from Mannarino? That's a winner. 15 love. Impatiently waiting on Fonseca's return. Yeah, I mean, hey, I tell you, Brazil needed him in the Davis Cup because it went down the wire, and had Brazil had Fonseca, they probably would have beaten Canada, or at least they would have had a better chance because Canada didn't have their guns. 30 love. As we get a 4-1 winner from Mannarino, 30 love. Your 2 previews for the Doha draw have turned out useless, Cam. So it's 40 love. Cool. So, and? 40 love. Is it a fault second serve? Mannarino second serve. Double fault, 40-15. Actually going pretty quick this match, 22 minutes. Shame how Chapo faded out. Canada is lucky FAA is doing well. Yeah, but they got a lot of good players on the women's side too, though. So they've got a good combination of players on both sides. On Boko Fernandez, Andrescu, she's gone back to the start to win some trophies. So it goes wide by Felix. It's 4-3 FAA with the break. Mannarino holds. 4-3. By the way, which 2 of my previews are useless? Because only one match. Chen Castella is the only one that's fallen through. The other matches I've done are fine. So I don't know what you're referring to. Did somebody else withdraw? Are you breaking news right now? What news are you breaking? Who withdrew? Tell us right now. Quick, tell us. Tell us now. Give us the scoop. Who withdrew? Tell us. Quick. Quick. Right now. Quick. Quick. Hurry. Quick. We don't have much time. Tell me right now, Nassar. Tell me right now. Who withdrew? Don't hold out on us. You can't be doing this to us. You can't be saying that my 2 previews are useless and what are you telling me? Quick. Give me the scoop. You rushed to make those, should have waited another day. That's not what I'm asking. Who withdrew? Tell me now, quick. Oh no. By the way, look at my new mug that I got. I got it for $1. It's Captain America. Quick! Tell me! Ah, 4-3. FAA to serve. He's got the break. Not a hoarder. Castella withdrew. Yes. And? 4-3. Emma withdrew? When? Where's Jean? Jean would know. Jean, did Emma Raducanu withdraw? 15 love. As Auger Aliassime serves. A fault, second serve. Second serve, Felix. No, she didn't. $15-0. So only one of my previews is useless. 15-0. By the way, what's it to you? I wasted my time. You don't have to. I didn't waste your time. It was like a minute. You watched a minute video. You get that back. Relax. 15-0. I stayed up until 5 in the morning making those videos, but I really don't care if somebody pulled out. It's fine. I made a preview about Berrettini versus Demonor as well at the Australian Open. That didn't happen. As There's a lot of videos I make that never make it to the light of day. Don't you stress. They're only 2-minute videos. It's fine. 30-15. As the backhand return goes in the forehand of Felix. Backhand lob. Nope, Mannarino couldn't get it. 40-15. 40-15. Which is the Roland Garros shirt behind you? That one and this one. The blue one and the stripy one. Oh, which shirt is below the Roland Garros one? Oh, that one there is Wimbledon. That's his first ever title. Sorry, his second ever title. Anyways, good drop shot, Mannarino, 40-30. So yeah, that one there is the Wimbledon 2023. And then the top one... Actually, you know what? I could do this. I'll do something fancy. All right, so that is Wimbledon 24, Wimbledon 23, French Open 25, Oz Open, US Open, US Open, French. Hello. All right. Mannarino gets the deuce. I mean, I didn't even need to do that. I could have just done that. All right, deuce. You were so wealthy, Cam. I didn't buy them all at once. I bought one shirt every 3 months. Anyways, advantage FAA. You can too. You just have to buy them at the time of them. Like, I bought them the day the week that he won. So you get them at the price that they sell at the store. You just gotta do that, and you'll get them for $80 or whatever, $70. I don't know how much they are in America, but if you get them the day, the week that he wins, then you get them at normal price. You know, if you get them if you get them a year later, it's going to be $1 million. But you might be lucky, though. You might get one. You might find one that's cheap. Anyways, Mannarino back to deuce. How much do they cost? I don't know. Google it. All right, deuce. As a return, goes into the forehand of Felix. Slice Mannarino. Into the forehand of Felix. Mannarino with a full hand goes wide, and it's advantage FAA. To keep the break. US Open 2025 one is beautiful. The pink one. Yeah, I need to get a little a plaque or something, a little thing that says what they were. That's what I want to do, so I can remember. Because I'm sure he's going to win a couple more. Backhand Mannarino, that's a lob. Felix smash, Mannarino gets it. Felix with a half volley, drop shot winner. Beautiful pickup by FAA. 5-3, and FAA's fired up. 5-3, Felix. All right, Mannarino's going to serve to stay in the set. What happens when Carlos wins more slams? Will they fill in the wall? Yeah. I've made room. Like, there's room. I can put 3 more above, like, this row. So there's 1 more row of 3 up the top. And then I can put, like... I think I've got, like, 9 places. And then I can go around the corner. I can go put them here. But, yeah, like, there's like, 9 spots left. So this will be good for at least another 3 years. But if he wins more, I can just put them, like, here. Don't worry, we got this sorted. This is future-proof. All right. And if worst case, I can move that and we'll move them all the way over that way. We'll cover the entire wall. 15, love 15. Mannarino forehand in the forehand of Felix. Mannarino with the backhand cross court. Felix gets with the forehand on the stretch. Mannarino forehand to the backhand of Felix. Into the forehand of Mannarino. Felix with a slice. It's Mannarino forehand again. The backhand of Felix. Sliced again. Mannarino forehand cross court. That's a great shot. Felix sliced it wide. And it's 15-0. How upset were we with the Raducanu loss? I don't know. I don't think people are that upset, to be honest. I don't think Raducanu fans were that mad or that sad. As it a backhand out of the forehand of Mannarino. Forehand out from Felix. The backhand of Mannarino. Felix forehand down the line. That's a beautiful shot. 15-30. Oh, schedule just came out. Let's go. I'm nervous because now I'm going to have to figure out how the hell we're going to watch everything tomorrow. Let's see if Doha will learn from Abu Dhabi and put Eala on center court. Oh, they did. Oh, Doha, you're you. Oh, actually, good schedule. Good schedule. Raducanu, okay. Ooh, actually, really good schedule. I don't know if we watch Chen versus Attach Maya. We might. Maybe. It's been put on Grandstand 3. But they put Eala Valentova on center court. That is smart. That is smart, Doha. You were smart. Doha starting well. That's a good start. Good, smart start. Is it a 4-0 from Felix inside out winner? And it's 15-40 set points. Good work from Doha. So you got joint versus Noskova. We can probably watch that to start the day and then go into Eala versus Valentova. Then Sakari Sonmez. Night session is Anisimova Pliskova, maybe. Zhang Kennan's playing at the same time, possibly as Sakari. So we'll see what happens there. And then Raducanu's playing later. Yeah, this actually might work out really well. Schedules tomorrow's like for a schedule that was supposed to be busy. It is busy, but it's actually pretty nice. It's not like super jam packed. It's pretty. We're just gonna have to change courts every other point or every other game, but that's fine. Anyways, Felix with a great return at 6-3 first set, FA8. That's actually like very smart from the Doha schedulers to go. You know what? Let's put Eala Valentova on center court because we don't want to make the mistake of putting her on a small court and more people, crowding the place. So that's smart. That's a smart. Whoever's doing the Doha schedule has been watching the channel because we've been telling every tournament you got to put Eala on center court at this point. She's just getting everybody in the house is going there. So you got to do it. But what time is that my time though? What time am I starting tomorrow? So we'll start at 1 p.m. All right, so 1 p.m. is 9 p.m. my time. Oh, wait, so hang on. So I don't even have to wake up. I don't have to... Wait, hang on. Oh, so Eala starts at 11 p.m. That's actually really good. That's so good. I thought it would be on later than that. So this time, I might actually not have to stay up all night tomorrow. That's cool. Okay. All right. Nice. 6-3 first set. I wanted her to win, but I'm not upset. She is making progress. Oh yeah, for sure. I think most Raducanu fans may be disappointed that she lost, but I think making the final was a massive win. Making that final is first final since that US Open. I think that was a win. Getting to the final was a win for the Raducanu fans. And you can't say it was a bad week. She got to the final. If you say it's a bad week, then you're just a hater. And also, she lost to Castella, who's no joke. She lost to a qualifier who was like 200 in the world. You'd be like, that was not great. But she lost to like a legit player in the final. Wasn't a bad loss. It was a bad beat, but it wasn't a bad loss. All right, 15 love. Felix serving first and the second. Yeah, Nissimova and Andreeva are playing their second rounds tomorrow. Yeah, they kind of have to do that though, because otherwise the schedule gets banked up. 30 love. By the way, chat, there's this radio station in Australia that has like a digital radio station, which is like it's like a second station. It's still the same like company or place, but it's like a different, and they play the craziest combination of songs. They go from playing Bob Dylan to Mark Ronson to like Fleetwood Mac, and then they come back to some weird indie 2025 shit, and then they go back to like 1990, and then they play like some new Lily Allen stuff, and then they go to like some other weird like spacey kind of weird crazy music. It's so good. I was just playing Mario and had that on, and I'm like, this is crazy. No ads. Like, they're not trying to like advertise anything. They just like play music. It's just so good. It is so good. Anyways, that goes out by Mannarino 40-15. So it's just so chill. I'm getting addicted to Mario, yeah. I think I've got like 77 stars on Galaxy. And then I've just started playing Galaxy 2. As Mannarino sliced the net, it's one love Felix. I just started Galaxy 2. So yeah. I still got to play Kingdom Hearts. I bought that as well. The whole series of that. What's the station called? It's called Double J. And it's just a real chill. They just got a good eclectic style of songs. You're not going to have the same. It's not just playing like, the same thing over and over. It's like, it will play like all different genres, all different eras of music. It's really cool. And then some stuff you've never heard of. Local stuff, like Australian stuff. It's really good. Really, really fun. If it's a digital station, I can access it. Yeah, you probably could. Definitely worth a listen. Very chilled. One love FAA. Well, Camp, safe to say you are getting used to the wildness of Mario. Yeah, well, I played like Odyssey. I finished Odyssey. Well, I haven't finished it, but I finished the story mode of Odyssey, and I've got like most of the Mario games on my Switch. But yeah, Galaxy is definitely a good buy. 15 love. 7 to the back of Felix. Return goes into the back end of Mannarino. Felix with the forehand. Into the back end of Mannarino. Felix Forehand down the middle. Mannarino goes cross to the backhand of Felix. Into the backhand of Mannarino. Felix backhand again down the line is a winner. Off the line. Beautiful shot. 15-0. Galaxy best in my opinion. I liked Odyssey. I thought Odyssey was pretty fun. All right, 15-0. But yeah, Galaxy is pretty... I like these games that are just like... You have to go from here to here. Like you have to go from the start to the finish. And you've just got to go through all the obstacles and try and pass the level. Like that's like those games are so nice and simple. 30-15. They're just so like... They're not easy, but they're so like... They're not complex. They're not complicated. They're just like... You have to go from here to there. And there's a bunch of traps in the middle and you got to try and get through it. Yeah. But it's not easy. It's just not complex. As that backhand goes wide by Felix in 40-15. And then you just have to do that like 120 times to get all the stars. And I love it how it's like the story mode ends, but the game keeps going. Like you don't stop when the story ends. You keep playing. You have to go back and do other levels again, and you have to redo stuff, and you have to find other stuff, and like it's and there's actually an end point. Like if you do this, you finish the game. And you're like, okay. Anyways, that goes out by Felix, and it's 1-1. Have you played 1,000-Year Door? No, I haven't. What's that? What is 1,000-Year Door? 1-1. By the way, packed house. Love it. France show up to tennis events. They show up. Thought you mentioned a while ago that you were going to a concert. How was it? No, I'm going to a concert in 2 weeks. So hopefully it's good. All right, backhand return. Nope, it's called a let on the serve. Mario RPG. I haven't played that either. 1-1. 1,000-Year Door is Mario, I believe. Okay. Great serve out wide from Felix. All right, 15 love. FA serves again. Into the back of Mannarino. Return goes into the forehand of Felix. Mannarino backhand to the forehand of Felix again. Mannarino again with the backhand. Into the slice of FAA. But he hits it long. And it's 15-0. By the way, Chad, I heard... I listened to the Players Box podcast talking about they don't want... Well, they didn't say they didn't want 5-set finals, but they said that they didn't... It wasn't what... if they had a decision... If they got to make a choice, they'd say no. Man, just make it the final. 30-15. Just make it the final. I think once we start like making it from quarterfinals onwards, it's going to get too complicated. Because everything they were saying was like, you know, quarterfinals onwards is crazy. You know, 2 men, you know, whatever. And by the way, chat, I'm not speaking from like a player welfare point of view. I'm speaking as a fan. Fans want more tennis, at least for the final. And then there's what, like 4 finals a year, which is best of 5. That's easy. It's not easy, but like the final boss is a big 5-set match. That's fun. But if you make it like half the tournament, then yeah, it's going to be a massive change to the women's game. Like it's, you know, they're going to have to like the workload increases. If you change it from like 4th round onwards, it's crazy. As a return goes in the net by Mannarino, and it's 2-1 FAA. But if you just make it the final, then only two players if it's only the Australian Open, two players every year have to play a 5-set match on the women's side. Just make the final. And then go from there. Or go back to the whatever. It could be a 3-set final where, straight sets final. It could be 2-2 and 2. That happens. This is potential Bublik versus Demon semis. There is, yeah. Not only AO should be all Grand Slam final sets should be 5 sets. Well, yeah, the AO will probably be. They're the one. Craig Tiley said it right. They're the ones to innovate, right? Australian Open is the innovation slam, so they'll be the ones to try it out first. If they get the players, on board. And then it's probably the US that follow. I don't think Wimbledon and the French are going to have 5-set women's finals anytime soon. I don't think they're going to. They're going to be the last to adapt to it. But the Australian Open can be the testing ground. And I feel like I'm trying to just obviously the ticket prices would maybe go up a little bit because you get a little bit more money, more value for money in that final, right? Because best of 5, you get a 5-set 4-hour match. It's probably, they probably charge a bit more for that. But it would be longer on TV too, right? So then the broadcasters would be able to show more tennis, right? A longer match, maybe. 5-set French Open, 5-set women's final for the French Open could be brutal. It could be. But it also could be straight sets. Swiatek's won finals at the French. She's won matches at the French Open in less than an hour. And you add an extra set, that's an hour and 20 minutes. So, yes and no. It depends on who plays, right? We're saying best of 5 sets, but doesn't mean 5 sets, does it? And it also depends who plays, because if it's 2 players that are hitting the ball hard, then they're not going to play long rallies anyway. So the brutality of the clay won't be a factor. If it's Gauff versus Swiatek, that might be a long match. But if it's Sabalenka versus Anisimova, might not be as long, right? But we're getting too far ahead. We just need to do one match one time. One final. Just make it the Australian Open final next year, and then that's it. And then go from there and see what happens. As Felix hits a winner, it's 15-0. Lovely shot there from FAA. Imagine Swiatek still losing to Penko and bet 3 out of 5. Well, yeah. I got tickets to Rotterdam final, but the draw is looking slim. Hopefully I can watch Medvedev and Bublik. Yeah, without Alcaraz, Draper, and Zverev, the draw definitely looks a lot thinner. But you still got some big names. There's still some top players. It's just not as stacked as it looked, 2 weeks ago. By the way, this time last week, chap, the Australian Open final finished and Alcaraz was the winner. It's been a week since the history has happened. 30-15. Serve is a fault. Second serve. (30-15). Mannarino serves. Into the backhand of Felix. Felix hits a wide. 40-15. Mannarino to level this second set. De Minaur has to win Rotterdam. He's been to the final several times. No Sinner has to stop him. True. All right, Mannarino holds. 2-0. Two all. All right, back to Felix. By the way, just having a look here. So Fernandez is about to lose, which means Mboko is going to be on soon. 15 love. And Fernandez just lost. All right, 7th ace for Felix. Another ace. 8 aces now. Beautiful serve down the tee. Not a good idea for women to play 5 sets. It's crazy. Okay. Do explain. Elaborate. Why do you think it's crazy? Backhand into the forehand of Mannarino. Felix to the backhand of the forehand of Mannarino. Off the tape into the forehand of Felix. Mannarino. Forehand in the net. 40 love. I think Swiatek could thrive in best of 5. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of players who could thrive in best of 5. I think Coco could thrive. Palini might be with someone who could thrive in that best of 5 environment. It could be really interesting. All right, A7T. And it's 3-2. Playing 5 sets need mentally tough to win. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, winning a Grand Slam final best of 3 is still mentally tough. You know, look at the players who make the final and then lose, right? You know, there's been, look at the players that win, right? They have a different mentality, right? Sabalenka, Swiatek, Raducanu, Gauff, like they've all won slams because mentally getting to that final, even if it's a 3-set, it doesn't really matter. It's still mentally the toughest task in tennis, right? But if you make it 5 sets, will that separate Raducanu, Sabalenka, Swiatek, and Gauff from each other? Will there be another level of okay, well now there's this, right? Who knows? Or are those 4 still dominate because are those 4 still the biggest 4 because they have that experience? I don't know. But I want to know. I want to find out. I want to see it. I want to see a Swiatek Sabalenka 5-set final. Come on now. That could be really fun. Really interesting. Especially mentally. Physically, I'm not bothered. I don't think physicality for Sabalenka, for those players that I just mentioned, I don't think physically it'll make a difference. Unless they had a really tough road to the final and they had an injury coming into the final. But physically, I don't think changing it to best of 5 is going to affect the quality, and we're not all of a sudden the ladies aren't just going to start falling apart. That's not, they're professional athletes, right? They're not going to just break down because they have to play an extra set, right? But the mentality of it all is really interesting. Because if somebody is down 2-1 or 2-love and it's not over, we watch that on the men's side, right? We see those comebacks happen and we're like, wow, those are and especially if it's in the final between hopefully the best players in the world, that is just that just is another level of if you win in that situation, it's just we don't talk about you don't get extra slams for winning in 5 sets, but the Alcaraz win against Sinner at the 2025 Roland Garros, that will go down as one of his greatest victories. Same with the 2023 Wimbledon, right? Those 2 will be seen as some of his greatest Grand Slams because of how he won them, right? And that would be so much fun to have that on the women's side. If somebody wins the Australian Open in a 5-setter, that will be seen. Maybe it's not worth as much more than any other slam, but it will be seen as a bigger, a bigger achievement almost, Because Sinner winning in straight sets at the Australian Open last year, nobody really remembers that against Zverev, right? We're like, okay, cool, he won. But the ones where he wins against Medvedev 2 sets to love down, that's the one we remember, right? The way they win the slam, that's interesting. Like, that's really fun. And that's where I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool to have that on the women's side too. So then on the Saturday, we could get 5 setters on the Saturday and the Sunday. Like, that would be crazy. 15:30, chance for Felix to break. Definitely add a lot of drama too. Oh yeah, be awesome. Be just so much fun. As that backhand goes wide by Felix, 30-all. As we just serve out wide as a fault by Mannarino. Serving to the forehand of Felix. Return goes into the back of Mannarino. Felix. Forehand to the back of Mannarino. Again, the forehand of Felix. Mannarino. Backhand again to the slice of Felix. Mannarino wins a point, though. Felix hits out 40-30. All right, 40-30. I thought the 4 slams had the same committee so they can harmonize and agree on the rules across the 4 slams. No, the rules are, the rules, the ITF makes the rule book, but how each slam is run is based on the tournament. Like, there's no rules. Like, the Australian Open can, I don't think there's a rule against the Australian Open making a 5 setup, because remember back in the day, US Open used to have a final set tiebreak and the other slams didn't, and then there was another rule that came in that this other slam had a different thing, and so I don't think the scoring of a final set really, like, I don't think that's, like, remember how Wimbledon had the 12-all tiebreak, or, and that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think it's an ITF decision. And then they unified it because it was just easier for everybody, for the fans, right? They did that for us to unify that system. It wasn't a rule though, I don't think. It would counter, bro, I don't know what that word is. I don't know if you misspelled that word or if you've just made up a word, or I don't know that word. 15 love. As FA serves again. Wimbledon is still the only slam with a curfew. But that's because they have to obey the laws of the council, and they're in the middle of a housing area, so they have to, they don't have a curfew because they want one, they have a curfew because they have to have one. 15-all. The curfew's not there because Wimbledon are like, we should stop tennis. They're like, no. They have to obey the rules of the council. It's not a Wimbledon curfew. It's not. It's not a self-imposed curfew. If Wimbledon had their way, they'd play until they finished. 15-all. As the backhand goes out by Mannarino, and it's 30-15. All right, serve again, Felix. Into the back of Mannarino. Return goes short into the forehand of Felix. Mannarino with a passing shot. Felix with a volley. Mannarino gets it with a lob. Oh, it goes in. Felix around the legs, puts up a lob. And Mannarino puts away the smash. Good recovery, Mannarino. 30-all. Nice recovery. I'm determined to be at Wimbledon this year, going to join the queue and in the hopes of getting a ground pass. Well, when I went to Wimbledon, I got there at 5 in the morning and waited in the queue until 11. And got in. So if you get there early enough, you should be okay. If you rock up at 9 o'clock, you probably won't get in. But if you rock up early, maybe not 5 a.m., you could probably rock up at like 6 or 7. But it's worth it though. I mean, I don't even like the time flew. And then I was at Wimbledon. It's all worth it. And it's 40-30. All right, 40-30. Was planning on getting there at like 5. Yeah. I mean, I went like 10 years ago, so yeah. You probably, I mean, I don't know if it's changed, if more people are there now, but into the backhand now from Mannarino. The forehand of Felix. Mannarino forehand goes long, and FAA stays in front, 4-3 in the second. All right. I'm going on the Friday of the first week, so hopefully less packed than the weekend. Oh yeah, the weekend would be crazy. I went on Wednesday. I went day 3 and got there very, very early. But also I got there early so then I could get into the grounds to go to the court I wanted to go to. So it was also, if you get there, like, the earlier you get there, the closer to the front of the line you are, and then like when you get in, you can kind of like just run to the court you want to see. Because I wanted to go to the court where all the Aussies were, because there was a court that was like basically just like all the lower ranked Aussies were playing. So that's where I sat for most of the day and then just wandered around after that. Alcaraz has the same amount of slams on hardcourt as Sinner. Does he? Yeah, okay. 2, yeah, 3, yeah, okay. Cool. All right, 4-3. Qatar started today. It's on right now, but we're watching it tomorrow. But yeah, it started. It's on right now. All right. Somebody in the crowd was wasting time, and Mannarino was not happy. 4-3. The crowd got upset as well. As the return goes to the forehand of Mannarino. Forehand of Felix. To the back of Mannarino is Felix with a forehand in the nets. 15-love. All right, serve again from Mannarino. Return goes in. The forehand of Mannarino. Felix with the pass. Mannarino with the volley. Goes long. 15-0. As we get to serve again. Fault by Mannarino, second serve. All right, Mannarino 30-15. As we get a 4 down the line, up goes a lob by Felix, but it goes wide. And Mannarino gets the 40-15. And then an ace from Mannarino. All right. Mannarino is level again. Four all. All right. Why has chat got numbers after their names? Because some people's username isn't just like their normal name because there's other people that have that name. 15 love. There's a default second serve. Love. Serve the backhand Mannarino. Back it out from Felix. There's Mannarino back into the forehand of Felix. Mannarino forehand cross court the backhand of Felix. Into the backhand of Mannarino. Felix backhand into the Mannarino forehand as Mannarino hits it long. And it's 30 love. Oh yeah, Krejcikova withdrew. My point is that Carlos is better than Sinner on hard courts. Thoughts? He was better at the US Open for sure. Look, I've 30 love. There's a slice now from Felix into the back into Mannarino. Mannarino in the net, 40 love. I'm just trying to do the math in my head. So Alcaraz has 7. Sinner's got 4, right? There is a possibility that it could be 6 for Sinner, 5 for Alcaraz. There's also a possibility that there would be like that Djokovic could have won that Wimbledon 23. Smash winner from Felix 5-4. Like the US Open 22, Sinner had match points against Alcaraz. Alcaraz wins the tournament, right? French Open last year, there was a match point for Sinner. Alcaraz won the match, right? Last year's Wimbledon, really, I mean, Sinner was down to Slavovich and Dimitrov, but when we talk about Sinner versus Alcaraz at these tournaments, that one was Sinner. Alcaraz won US Open easily last year. I mean, Wimbledon, the first 2 Alcaraz won. Like, I mean, you could say there's like a handful of points and they go one way or the other, and we're looking at a totally different tally, right? We're looking at Sinner's got 7 and Alcaraz has 4. Like, it's not much between them. So even though they both have 3 all, I mean, Sinner loses the 5 to Djokovic. Does Sinner beat Alcaraz in the final if they played in Melbourne? Who knows? Maybe, because Sinner's... I still think Sinner's a better hardcourt player. 3 slams each. The thing is, though, that like, I mean, there's 2 other slams on different surfaces. So having 3 slams each on hardcourts, even if Sinner's the better hardcourt player, Alcaraz has more slams because he's better on all the other surfaces, like on all surfaces, right? So if you're good on hardcourt, that's great. But you're only going to win 2 slams a year if you're only going to be good on hardcourt. Now, Sinner's good on other surfaces. Grass, obviously. But, again, I still think Sinner... I still think it's... Alcaraz has the clay. Sinner has the hard court. On grass, Sinner has the edge, but I think Alcaraz this year will make it interesting if they play again. And I also think last year, another reason why Alcaraz lost was because he was coming off that French Open and he was trying to win 3 Wimbledons in a row. And I don't think again, these guys, Alcaraz and Sinner, haven't won 3 tournaments in a row before. At least not at the Grand Slam level yet. So a 3-peat, we shouldn't underestimate how hard that is. So when Sinner goes into the Australian Open this year and tries to win 3 in a row, even though we're not really talking about that is probably in his head, because a 3-peat is a big deal. Winning 3 in a row is a big deal. Alcaraz winning 3 Wimbledons in a row, that's a big deal. We've got to remember that. Sabalenka winning 3 in a row at the Australian Open last year, that's a big deal. It's not easy though. Like winning that third one seems to be that can be a stumbling block. But there is a world where Sinner could have had more slams than Alcaraz at this point. Had he have won 1 point at the French last year, and even maybe 1 point at the US in 22. That could have been very interesting. 15:30 here. Felix about to win this title. But yeah, I'm until Alcaraz beats Sinner again at a hard court slam. Like if he beats Sinner at the US Open this year as well, I'll go, okay, that's Alcaraz better on hard court set. But I still think Sinner's the best hard court player in the world right now. All right, 15:30. 2 points away. And I know that Alcaraz has won the US Open and the US Open and the Australian Open in the last couple of, but I still think if they play on hard court, Sinner has the advantage. All right, good serve from Mannarino, 30-all. Maybe the best hard court player. They're pretty close, but I think if they play each other, Sinner still has the edge on hard courts. And that includes indoor hard courts. That's not just like outdoor. Hopefully we can see them play in Doha or Miami or Indian Wells. So that'd be fun. Because I really think we need a Sinner match at one of those events. Even though we've had so many Sinner matches. Backhand off the tape from Mannarino is good. In comes Felix. Mannarino pass. Felix with the volley. Mannarino passing shot. Not good enough. And Mannarino throws his racket across the court, but Felix hits a winner. Okay. Championship point. 30-40. Head-to-head on hard courts. I'm guessing Alcaraz might have the advantage because he won those Indian Wells matches. All right. Championship point for FAA. $30-40. Mannarino serves. Serving the front of Felix. Return goes long and Mannarino survives. Deuce. Mannarino survives. Deuce. As the return goes out by Felix, and Mannarino gets to advantage. Why does Mannarino give Dan Evans vibes? Because he's bald? I don't know. Because they both haven't got hair? Wait, does Dan actually, no. Oh no, Dan Evans, he's gone. He buzzed his hair, right? Didn't he? And they have a beard. Maybe that's why. Advantage, Mannarino. do you think the top 10 are weaker or stronger than 10 years ago? I don't know. Anyways, first serve is a fault, second serve. Second serve. Serving to the back of Felix. Return the forehand to Mannarino. He goes behind Felix with a slice. Mannarino now forehand cross-court winner. Mannarino survives 5-all. By the way, Chad, if you want to... we've been kind of tracking this guy for a couple of months now in his comeback. But it was awesome to see, I don't know if you saw it, that Hyun Chong was the winner. He won against Argentina for Korea in the Davis Cup. He was the deciding win. It was 2-0. They chucked him in, and he was the one who won it for Korea to get into the next round and knock Argentina out. So great to see that. And we've kind of been tracking him a little bit on the World Tour, right? The ITF Tour. But that was awesome to see him back and in such a big moment deliver. Because he's had a horror run of injuries over the last 8 years. Ever since that Australian Open run, he is just... And he was supposed to be Medvedev, Rublev, Tsitsipas, Zverev, in that group. He was one of those guys. He was one of the original next-gen winners. So it was awesome to see that he was the one who got Korea over the line over Argentina. So hopefully it's the start of his injury-free comeback, because he's very dangerous. We saw, he didn't beat Djokovic for free. He won that legit. And beating Djokovic in Melbourne, that is not easy. 15 love. As Felix serves again. As a default second serve. As the return goes to forward to Felix. Felix puts away the winner. And it's 30 love. So yeah, I'm going to go back to the question about, is the top 10 now weaker than it was? I'll talk about that in a second, because I've just had a look what the ranking point situation was post-Australian Open in 2016. As that goes for an ace from Felix, 40 love. And I'm going to read out the names of the top 10 from 10 years ago, and then read out the top 10 names now. But also I'm going to talk about the age of the players in the top 10 now, because I don't think that gets spoken about much. Because it's not fair to compare Musetti at 23 to Burdick at 30. That's not fair. Or Tsonga, right? That's not fair. He's 7 years behind them at that stage, But we'll talk about that in a second. That's a good question. 40 love. As the return goes into the forehand of Felix. Mannarino with a backhand, and Felix can't get it back. He slices it long. All right. 40-15. That's Felix with an ace. And it's 6-5. All right, so the top 10 years ago was consisted of, all right? And look, this is a crazy top 10, right? I'm not going to say that this is like a bad top 10 at all. So you had, in this order, Djokovic, Murray, Federer, Wawrinka, Nadal, Ferrer, Nishikori, Berdych, Tsonga, Gasquet, right? Great top 10. That's a great top 10. We look back at that and we go, wow, that was amazing back then. But we've got to remember that the top 10 we have now, which is Alcaraz, Sinner, Djokovic, Zverev, Musetti, De Minaur, Fritz, Auger Aliassime, Shelton, and Bublik. Yes, okay, there's 3 guys in the top that have won slams. And on the other side of things, we had Djokovic, Nadal, Murray, Federer, Wawrinka all having slams, right? So the difference is we don't have multiple slam champions in the top 10. But the average age of the top 10 now is about 26 and a half. Back then, it was 29 and a half. So does the top 10 we see currently, it's probably better to judge these guys in 3 more years. Like, because, Alcaraz is 22, Sinner's 24, but like Musetti's 23, Shelton's 23, right? The youngest player in the top 10 back in 2016 was Nishikori, 26. And then Djokovic and Murray were 28. And then Nadal at 29 and Gasquet at 29. And then everyone else was 30 above. There's only one player who's over 30. And that's Djokovic in the top 10. So it's a younger top 10 now than it was. So is it weaker? Probably, because they're younger. They're not as experienced as those Tsonga and Berdych types. Also, the ranking points are really interesting. So you could argue it's harder to get into the top 10 now, because back then, number 10 in the world, Gasquet, was on 2,700 points. Bublik is on 3,200 points. So nearly about 500 points more you have to gain to get into the top 10 than you did back 10 years ago. So being a top 10 player back then, easier than now, because that cutoff line for top 10 right currently is 500 points higher. The player that was on top was Djokovic with 16,000 points. Alcaraz got 13,000 points. To get in the top 4, obviously with a massive drop off between Sinner and Djokovic, but top 4 it was 6,000 points, and Zverev's on 4,000 points. So again, a Grand Slam worth of points, right? But yeah, it's so hard to judge because, it might be better off asking this question in another 2 years. So then when we look at the top 10 from 2018 and we compare it to now, like 2028, that might be more of a fair assessment, because then the guys like Musetti and FAA, who's only 25, and Shelton and all the guys outside the top 10 that we all love as well, the young guys that are coming through, they'll all have more experience, so we'll be able to judge better. I don't think it's a fair judgment. 2016 was very, very, 2010 to 2017 is a very, very crazy time, right? It might be better to judge from 2018 to 2028. I think that would be a more, because then we'll see, obviously Zverev will be 30, right? Medvedev will be over 30. There'll be more players over 30 from that generation as Mannarino hits a winner and we get to a tiebreak 6-all. It'd be like comparing 2 years ago to 2014. That's ridiculous. 2014 was insane. 2015 was insane. Like the 2015, Djokovic, the greatest year of his career. And then you got to put it up against anybody from last year. That's not fair. So, and also I can't remember, in 2016, were we looking at Tsonga and Berdych as the same as we look at Zverev and Medvedev, or were we looking at those guys and being like, wow, these guys are really good, or were we just going they're all playing for second? Not even that. They weren't even playing for second because they couldn't make it the quarters because the top 4 were making the semis. Whereas now it's Zverev's making the semis. There's chances to make the semis. Back then it was Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, Murray, and maybe Ferrer or Wawrinka. But everybody else had to play. Were losing in the quarters. If you made the second week, you celebrated. You made the 4th round. Let's go. You weren't making the final, though, because Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic were going to say no. Anyways, one love. But good question. I think it's a better question to, like I said, in about 2 years. I think we'll have a better. We can understand talk about it better that in like 2 more years. Because 2018 still had Del Potro, Dominic Thiem was coming up, Zverev was even in the mix. Like 2018 was still pretty awesome. All right, one love Felix. He's had match points already. As a return, goes to forehand Mannarino. Backing out from Felix. The forehand Mannarino is Felix forehand. Again to the forehand Mannarino. Felix goes to the backhand of Mannarino now. It's Felix forehand again. Cross court, and Mannarino gets it with his forehand to the backhand of Felix. Felix hits it long. It's 1-all. 1-all. One. There's a bit of fault from Mannarino. Second serve. Back in return. Into the forehand Mannarino. Forehand from Felix. In the net. 2-1 Mannarino. 2-1 Mannarino. Also, thinking about trying to compare the top 10 now to 10 years ago, it might be a better, we'll get a better answer to in a couple of years, because we can look back and go, was 2024 to 2026 easier or harder than 2014 to 16? Because we can actually look back and go, okay, well, we'll have a better. Because if we look, if Zverev wins a slam, or if Medvedev wins another slam, or if Fritz wins one, or Musetti makes a final, or all of those things happen, we're going to look at those guys a lot differently than we look at them now, right? Whereas we look at Burdick and we look at Tsonga and we look at Ferrer and we look at those guys and we go, wow, those guys made a final in the greatest era of all time. That's crazy. But if the guys that are currently in the top 10, if they start making finals of slams or winning them, we're going to look at them differently in 5 years. As Mannarino gets a mini break with a forehand winner and it's 3-2. Because I'm just trying to think, did Burdick did he make a final in 2016? Or did he make the Wimbledon final in 2016? Gasquet never made a final of a slam. Tsonga had made one earlier. Ferrer, I don't think, made the final until 2017, right? Oh, Burdick was 2010 Wimbledon. Yes. I'm thinking of Raonic. Raonic was around the 2015s, right? 2014, something like that, right? Nishikori made the final in 2014 US as Mannarino holds his serve and gets to 4-2. Ferrer was 23rd. Okay. All right. Yeah, Tsonga was 2008 final. I remember that. Gasquet made a semi-finals. But then if we're just basing on those guys all made finals of slams and the current top 10 haven't all made finals yet? Or should we start talking about 1,000 titles? Because then if we go one step below that, Zverev has won a lot of 1,000s, right? Shelton's got a 1,000 title. Fritz has got a 1,000 title. If Medvedev gets back in the top 10, it makes the top 10 look a lot better because he's obviously got a slam and multiple big trophies. Back in return, into the forehand of Mannarino. Mannarino's got the mini break in this tie break as we get a slice from Felix. Mannarino backhand. Into the forehand of Felix. Mannarino down the line backhand. Felix sets it with a slice. Mannarino volleys. Felix with a pass. Is a winner. Too good from FAA. We're back on serve 4-3. Mannarino. Okay. Four, 3. Felix serves. As the return goes in the forehand of Felix. Backhand of Mannarino is a lob. Goes long. 4-0. All right, 4-4. Mannarino is like your grumpy uncle that shows up to Thanksgiving, and I hope he said no. I'm lucky I don't have any grumpy uncles. And we don't do Thanksgiving. But I get the reference. All right, 4-4. What's up, film? How you doing? Ace out wide. FAA. 5-4. And that hit the line by this much. All right, 5-4. FAA, 2 points away from the title. 5-4. Mannarino serves again. A fault. Second serve. Seven to the backhand of Felix. Forehand from Mannarino. Into the backhand of Felix. Mannarino. Forehand to the forehand of Felix. To the backhand of Mannarino. Felix with the forehand. Cross court again to the backhand of Mannarino. Backhand cross from Felix. As Mannarino's forehand goes again. The backhand of Felix. He's having cross court backhand at the moment. Now forehand into forehand rally. As Felix goes to the backhand of Mannarino. Forehand from Felix again. Mannarino goes down the middle. And eventually hits it long. We got championship points again. 2 of them for FAA. 1 on his serve. 6-4 Auger Aliassime to win his 9th career trophy and back-to-back in Montpellier. Six-4. FAA. As Mannarino serves. Into the backhand of Auger Aliassime. Forehand from Mannarino. Auger Aliassime forehand to the forehand of Mannarino. Again, the forehand of Auger Aliassime. Forehand from Mannarino on the stretch. FAA cross court. Mannarino can't get it. There it is. Felix wins. After a disappointing Australian Open, having to retire in the first round due to injury, he wins a title the week after the Australian Open. The only title that anybody could have won this week on the men's side. 13 aces. What a great performance. Didn't face a break point. Serving ridiculous. FAA gets the win. And he's back-to-back champs in Montpellier. Yeah, GG's. Good win for Felix. Pretty straightforward too. I mean, obviously Mannarino did well to fight in the second, but overall it was a solid win for Felix. All right. Just had a look at the top 10 in the 2013 top 10. Not much different from 2016. I'm not sure today's top 10 would compete and win. Yeah, again, Michael, it's so hard to play that game. Because, like I said, I think what we're gonna look at, the current top 10 are gonna look a lot different when they're at 25 to 30 years old, or even when they're over 30. Like it's a better comparison if we look back and, I mean, I haven't looked at 2013. So if I look back at 2013 and think, Hang on, let me have a look. It's so hard too because you look at anything between 2008 and 2020. It's got like the best players of all time. So no one's like this top 10 are never going to be able to compete against the greatest players we've ever seen, right? I mean, it's always going to look worse because Nadal and Federer and Wawrinka and Murray are not there anymore. So it's never going to look this top 10 are never going to be able to compete with that. Not yet anyway. Now what does 2013 look like? I mean, you have Tipsarevic in there, Del Potro. I mean, it looks 2013 looks better, but still, the cutoff was 2,700 points. Yeah, I mean, you got Murray, Federer, Djokovic, Nadal. Delpo had a slam by then. Burdick, Tsonga finals. David Ferrer was number 4. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. But, what's the point in playing this game anyway? What does it prove? At the end of the day, it's like, well, it was better in 2013. Okay, and what can we do about that? If statistically it was better in 2016 or 2013, cool. Why? And what are we doing? We can't go back and pluck those players out and put Tsonga in 2026 or get Ferrer now. So it doesn't. I mean, it's just does it prove that this era is weak? Cool, okay, but whoever wins the slams, nobody's going to give a shit in 50 years who they played. For the most part, we're going to be like, well, Alcaraz still has 7. Are we try? What's the point of the exercise? I think some people are just curious, like most of us, but yeah, are some people trying to disprove Alcaraz's greatness? Is that what people are trying to do? I don't know. Was it harder back then, so that's why it was better for whoever won was better? I don't know. You win a slam, it doesn't matter. Really, does it? Who you played. Because you won't remember that. You'll just remember how many they won. 7 so far. It's... I'm sure not many people could remember every single match that Federer, Nadal, Djokovic won to win their slams, right? So they just remember the number. And there's always going to be that thing where the previous generation of players are going to come out and be like, well, back in my day, that always happens. Happens with everything. Back in my day, it was harder. Back in my day, it was different. Back in my day, blah, blah, blah. If I was around today, I would have been blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, but you're not. So what are we doing? It's just a useless conversation. Meaning, it's pointless. There's no point to it. It doesn't change anything. It's like that in every sport. Yeah. And look, sometimes there is... I mean, look, no one's going to deny that 2010s was the greatest era of tennis we've ever seen, and the 2020s are not the same. They're definitely not. But we also can't go back 10 years yet. Maybe someone's building a time machine. I don't know. But we also can't... you can't take someone from 10 years ago and put them in 2026. So, yeah, trying to discredit the players winning slams this era, what's the point? From what I've observed, but like you said, it's hard to compare the two directly just in isolation. Yeah, but also, again, what's the point? We're not going to have every great player play at the exact same time in their prime. That's never going to happen. We can't take the Alcaraz of now playing the Djokovic of 2015 versus the Pete Sampras of the 90s, the Andre of the 90s versus the Federer 2006 and Nadal. We can't get every best player from every best year of their careers and put them all in one. Like, that's not a thing. Look, I hope somebody builds some sort of technology like time machine. I'll be first on in. I'll go to it. Like, if they're gonna have like this, what do they call the Dragon Ball's Super Battle of Champions? You know, that thing where they grab like the best fighters from every universe. If we're gonna do that, if there's a way that we could do that in the future, I volunteer as the commentator because I want to be in that stadium. I want to see the McEnroe 1984 McEnroe up against the 2006 Federer. Like, if we could literally just go back in time and just like pluck all these people and put them put them in the middle of on a tennis court on the moon somewhere and just like, you know what I mean? Like, if we could do that, like literally just like pick up like 20-year-old McEnroe and we put him next to Federer, who is whatever, you know, and now Alcaraz. Like, if we could literally do that, I'm sure you could do it in a simulation. That I would actually be so keen to see that. Like, I'd watch that. I'd watch a simulation of all that. For sure. Like, 100% watch a simulation. But we don't have the technology to ever do that, to go back and go, we'll grab McEnroe from 84, and we'll grab this guy from this guy, and this person, and then we'll put them all in on a tennis court in their prime and play a massive tournament and see who wins that. That's impossible. It's not possible right now. Maybe in the future. Yeah, 2016, you know what I mean? But if somebody could make a simulation of it, I would be so keen to watch that. That'd be such a cool thing to see. It wouldn't give us an answer. It wouldn't give us like, you know, it would be a simulation, right? So it wouldn't be, you know, exactly, but it'd be still pretty fun. Like, it'd be pretty cool to see like how that would look. Kind of like when they did in, what was that movie? Was it the Rocky Balboa movie where they grabbed him from like his prime and they did a simulation with the guy that the champion at that time, even though Sly was like 60? Didn't they do something like that in that movie? And they like put them up against each other and did like a really shitty looking simulation. We need to do that for tennis. Yeah, was it when was that? Was it Rocky? Was it Balboa? The Rocky 6 or Rocky 5, something like that. I think it was Rocky 6, wasn't it? When he came back and they went, oh, this is what Rocky in, you know, when he was 25 versus this guy when, you know, right now, and blah blah blah. Yeah, like the Balboa movie, like when he became the coach. That would be really cool if we could do that in tennis. And there's probably a way to do it, but I would do it myself, but I want somebody else to do it so then I can watch it, not have to do it myself. Like, it would be awesome to see like Rod Laver of the 60s versus Bjorn Borg or Pete Sampras. Like, it would be awesome. It would be great to see Pete Sampras versus Novak Djokovic. You know? In their prime. I'm going to write this down because if it doesn't get done, I'll figure out a way to do it. All right. Do it and we'll watch. Yeah, I don't know how to do it though, but I would love to. We'll do it. That's definitely an off-season activity. Krejcikova is playing Doha doubles, but withdrew from the singles. She did that last week, didn't she? Boko's up a break already, 4-3. Nice. All right, chap. Well, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow for a big night of tennis. We're watching Doha tomorrow. Rotterdam also begins. I don't know if the schedule's out for tomorrow, but that's fine. I don't think it will be. But we're back tomorrow for a big day of 1,000 tennis. We've got a big 1,000 event this week. So it's starting already. It's actually on right now. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. FAA wins. He wins his 9th title back-to-back in Montpellier. And he beats Mannarino in straight sets, 6-3, 7-6. I'll see you tomorrow.